There are mistakes in the world of power. They do not shout. They do not explode. They simply bleed in silence, and the only fuel they need is your tolerance. The moment you let a betrayal pass, the moment you remain silent in the face of the unacceptable, you are not avoiding conflict. You are signing a death sentence for your own throne. This is not a story for the weak, not for those who wish to be liked. It is a warning for those who hold power and wish to keep it. An empire does not fall in a single day. It rots from the inside, not by the enemies at the gate, but by the hands of those who once sat beside you. If you overlook, if you tolerate, you will not die by an outside sword. You will be corroded by the ones closest to the throne. Today, Machiavelli will show you 7 silent poisons he warned never to forgive. People often say loyalty is proven by years, but Machiavelli knew better than anyone. Loyalty is not tested by time, but by chaos. When the sun shines, anyone can stand beside you. When gold flows in, when victories pile up, even the coward wears the mask of devotion. But watch what happens when the ground shakes, when fire erupts, when your name is dragged through blood and defeat. Only then will you see who stays for the crown and who stays for you. You have seen them before, the ones who raised glasses with you, who cheered your victories, who called themselves brothers. But when you fall, when the empire trembles, they vanish. No calls, no messages, only silence. And that silence cuts sharper than any blade. The worst comes when you rise again. From ashes you rebuild, and then they return with apologies, soft eyes, and excuses. I was struggling too. I didn't know what to say. But do not be fooled. Silence is never an accident, it is a choice. When they chose silence at your weakest moment, they chose to betray you. Carve this deep. Those who abandon you in weakness will never protect you in strength. If you forgive, not from power but from fear or nostalgia, you send a deadly message to your entire kingdom. That betrayal has no consequence. From that moment, loyalty becomes theater. People stay only as long as power stays in your hands. You are no longer a leader. You are a placeholder, a chair being measured for the next to sit. In a storm, you do not need a crowd. You need one person who does not vanish when the wind rises. That one is worth more than 100 who cheer in calm days but flee in the storm. Betrayal is not an emotional wound. It is a political stab. When others see you can be abandoned, they no longer fear you. And when fear vanishes, respect vanishes too. Then you are no longer a king. You are a name waiting to be replaced. Remember this. The greatest threat to your legacy does not come from swords outside the gate, but from the silence of those who once called you brother. If they disappear while you bleed, they do not deserve to stand beside you when you wear the crown. Do not seek closure. Do not explain. Do not forget. Every time you let a betrayer return, you whisper to the world that loyalty is optional. That is not how empires are built. That is how they rot from within. In politics and in power, betrayal once is betrayal forever. Forgive in thought if you must, but never return the place. Because once you do, the kingdom learns that betrayal is a delay, not a death. No throne survives without boundaries, but betrayal is only the first cut. The next poison spreads faster, not from outside but from the throne itself. It is the ruler's own fear. No disease destroys faster than fear. When it issues from the throne, the whole kingdom rots. You may think enemies will destroy you, or traitors in the dark, but the fastest way to kill an empire is to crown a coward. Cowardice never shouts, it whispers. It wears the cloak of prudence. It hides behind endless meetings, endless plans, endless talk of caution. But at its core, it is only fear. Machiavelli saw it clearly. A ruler who trembles before his own power poisons all who follow him. Picture this. The enemy tightens the siege, a crisis erupts, and every eye turns to the throne. The ruler must act, but he hesitates. He waits for more opinions, more time, more safety. With every passing second, the kingdom's trust bleeds away. The general who stalls in ambush, the king who delays in rebellion, the leader who avoids decision, they are not seen as careful, but weak. And weakness is a void. That void invites rebellion. It tempts the ambitious to rise. True leaders walk through fog. They act when others freeze. Not because they lack fear, but because they know showing fear is deadlier than any wrong decision. The moment your voice trembles, your hand shakes, or your confidence falters, you have taught everyone one lesson. You can be replaced. Power is not maintained by morality. It exists through decisiveness, through clear command, through unshaking presence. The coward always speaks of unity and consensus. They say, let's wait, let's discuss more. But beneath it lies fear, fear of blame. Such a ruler would rather watch the palace burn than risk being the one who ordered the fire to be put out. That is not leadership, that is survival instinct. People may forgive a wrong decision, but they will never forgive a ruler who trembles when strength is needed. When pressure rises, do you lead or do you wait for permission? One path builds trust, the other spreads fear, and fear spreads downward like fire. If you want to hold the throne, do what cowards never do. Make the hard decisions. Stand firm when others fall apart. Power belongs not to the one who knows what is right, but to the one bold enough to decide. People forget mistakes. They never forget the moment they saw fear in the ruler's eyes. That moment is when the throne becomes an empty chair. But cowardice is not the only poison. The next venom is sweeter flattery. The most dangerous person in a kingdom is not the one who opposes you openly, but the one who always nods, always agrees, always praises. An enemy keeps you sharp. A flatterer puts you to sleep. Flattery poisons in daylight with a smile, a compliment, and false obedience. Each kind word dulls your edge. Each echo blinds your sight. You become an actor, performing for a crowd instead of commanding it. Flatterers are loyal not to you, but to opportunity. They mimic your words, mirror your emotions, and vanish when your power fades. Machiavelli feared them more than traitors, because flattery blinds before the public eye. A true advisor warns you when you are wrong. A flatterer waits until the fall to say, "I saw it coming." Look around you. Who praises you every day but never challenges you once? Who never says no? That is not loyalty, it is manipulation. You do not need more applause. You need people who sharpen you. Remember, the one who praises without reason will abandon without warning. The one who never disagrees will betray first. The test is simple, say no. If the smile disappears, you've seen the truth. Loyalty without honesty is strategy, not devotion. A ruler addicted to praise has already lost power in his mind. Empires fall not from too many enemies, but too many flatterers. Yet flattery is not the deadliest blade. The next comes from the open challenge, the one who dares to question you in public. Power is not made of steel. It exists only in belief, the belief that you cannot be touched. The moment that belief cracks, everything collapses. One scoff during your speech, one sarcastic tone, one bold voice in the crowd, that is all it takes. From that instant, a seed of rebellion is planted. Power dies not from attacks, but from public doubt. If you tolerate public challenge, you invite repetition. And repetition kills authority. Every ambitious mind begins to think, if he can do it, so can I. Power fades not through revolt, but through polite questions, reasonable concerns, moral objections. Those who pretend to seek truth are often seeking your throne. If you laugh it off to seem calm or stay silent to seem wise, you are not protecting your image, you are handing it away. When challenged publicly, respond immediately, not with anger, but with coldness. The crowd does not analyze logic, they read presence. Do you tremble? Do you explain? Or do you stand silent, eyes steady, and make the air freeze? Never let public defiance pass unanswered, not out of ego, but because every eye is watching who truly commands the throne. Then comes ingratitude, the poison of mercy. The most dangerous enemy is not the one who fought you, but the one you saved. The one you protected, lifted, defended, and who later turned away. Ingratitude is not forgetfulness, it is refined betrayal. The ungrateful feel no guilt, they feel entitlement. They see mercy not as grace, but as weakness. When your power falters, they step on you. And when you recover, they return, smiling again. Machiavelli warned, never water dead soil. Never forgive the ungrateful. Because each time you do, the loyal learn the wrong lesson. Betrayal carries no cost. Gratitude cannot be forced, but ingratitude must be punished. Otherwise, loyalty becomes a parasite feeding until nothing remains. A wound from an enemy is expected. A wound from the one you saved destroys both your heart and your throne. And there is yet another poison: ambition without loyalty, talent without allegiance, the brilliant mind that never binds itself to you. Ambition is fire, it builds when contained, but burns when loose. These men stand near power, but never too close. They smile, they serve, but they never commit, they wait. They study your habits, your weaknesses, your fears. When crisis strikes, they step forward, pretending to save while taking control. Machiavelli warned, do not mistake brilliance for loyalty. If you see talent without roots, force allegiance or remove it. Otherwise, you are raising the man who will replace you. But even ambition is not the final poison. The last and most subtle is morality as a weapon. There are those who wield morality not as virtue, but as strategy. They preach justice, compassion, transparency, but their goal is not purity, it is power. They win not with swords but with sympathy. They plant doubt in the public mind. Is he too cruel? Do we need someone kinder? And soon you are no longer the ruler, you are the accused. Not in law, but in the court of public opinion, where guilt is decided by emotion, not truth. That is how thrones are lost, not in battle, but in performance. The crowd no longer seeks justice, they seek entertainment. The one who cries louder becomes the saint. The ruler becomes the villain. Your strength becomes labeled cruelty. Your silence becomes confession. You go from commanding the throne to begging for understanding. Power rots not from error, but from emotional defeat. You do not need to destroy true morality. You only need to strip masks from those who use it as theater. The truly moral advise in private. The false moralist needs an audience. Once emotion rules above strength, your throne becomes a stage. Machiavelli warned, stop the performance or lose the kingdom. 7 poisons revealed. 7 silent cuts that can end empires. Betrayal, cowardice, flattery, public challenge, ingratitude, ambition without loyalty, and morality as manipulation. Power does not die because of enemies. It dies because of what you tolerate. Every time you excuse betrayal, every time you stay silent, every time you smile at flattery, every time you allow disrespect to pass, you are rewriting the rules of power, and everyone is watching. In this world, silence is not humility. Silence is a message, and that message says, this throne can be taken. So draw the line, without hesitation, without apology. The world praises kindness, but it only respects strength. Machiavelli did not write for comfort. He wrote for survivors, for those who understand that mercy without boundaries is suicide. If you still stand here, you are one of the few, the ones who see through masks, who understand the cold truth. Only those who cut what must be cut keep the crown. Draw the line and make the vow to never tolerate betrayal again, because in a world ruled by fear, the only one respected is the one who never blinks.